Hi everybody, this is Pramita here, and today I'm going to be making a inspiring insert video. The first one I had done a few, I think a month or more back, and I was wanting to do this, but it's just that it didn't happen. So in this kind of insert, what we need to follow is that the direction of the print that we have. So this paper is from the sepia collection that I have in my shop, and since this is in a collage masterboard style, there are some scripty things that are upside down or sideways, and you can work with that. And if you have something like this, then you can still make it work because it has the orientation of the papers in the lengthwise way. In this case, this will work too, because this has only floral prints and no directional thing as such. So try to choose a paper which has either no directional print, or something which has a print like this, which can go anyways, like it can be upside down or sideways, or any orientation. Or if it doesn't bug you, then you can obviously take any kind of paper. So this is a paperweight paper which does not have any direction, and you can use those too. So the first thing I'm going to do is fold this paper into half. So I'm folding this paper lengthwise into half, and I'm going to be scoring this very nicely, and then cutting this down into two lengthwise halves. So one will form the base of our insert, and the other will form the pocket. So now I'm going to be using this ruler. You can use your trimmer also, but this paper is a tad bigger, and this works too. So I decided to go with this. And since I had printed this on 160 GSM paper, but I wanted this to be a bit thicker because I didn't print them on cardstock, so I decided to back these with another 160 GSM thickish kind of printer paper, so that I can make them a little bit sturdy. So I'm just gluing this down, and you don't need any kind of measurements as such. You can just wing it, but I will give you the measurements that I have followed. So I'm just laying this down, and then I'm going to cut this off, and this is going to be the second part that I'll be gluing down. And now the next thing that I'm going to do is trim off the white bits and pieces that are showing through, and then ink around the edges. So I'm just taking off the white bits and the uneven edges, and that's it. Basically the base is done. So I have these two pieces, and now the trick is to choose whichever one will form the lid of the insert, because it's going to be a flapped pocket sort of thing. And I'm going to go with the the image or at the top. And what I'll do is I'll keep a distance of about I'll score the lid part at around 4¼ and just fold it lightly, and then I'm going to place my ruler at around 2 inches, and then I'm going to show you a trick which will help things go smoothly. So I'm going to paper clip this part so that it doesn't move about, because now I'm going to turn this entire thing. So I'm going to use a paper clip just to make sure that it doesn't move about much. Now this is the back portion, and now this folds up. That's it. And you can add another pocket over there, but I am going to go with the basic structure, and I'm going to take off the sides a little bit. I know the lighting is really weird, but it's pretty late at night when I'm filming this, and I'm just going to take off a tiny sliver. Make sure that it is not much, otherwise it will not look nice, and the pocket which wraps around it will make sure that it is long enough to hide that that gap. So follow the measurements that I have given. It's going to work out fine. I've learned the hard way, so that's why I'm sharing the measurements. So now what I've done is I've punched a circle and I've stitched around it. Now we need to embellish this, and if you like this video, then don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and try to put a little bit of a comment. That would mean a lot to me. Now we come to the embellishing part, and that is the next day morning when I'm filming this, and I already have these stitched and glued, whatever, and I'm going to be putting all these little bits and pieces down and embellish this insert. So now I'm going to ink up the edges, and I already have inked up a little bit, but still I felt that it needed a little bit more. The insides have not been inked, and yesterday I didn't film anymore because I was feeling very tired. I didn't want to continue filming, and so today morning I decided to do this part and film this for you. So this is going to be a floating pocket of sorts, and you can paper clip this to your journals, or you can even add them on the cover if you so like, and then you can tuck this in at the back of your journal or whatever. Basically it is a floating insert, so you can keep it anywhere you like. So the edges have been inked, and now what I'm going to do, I'm using vintage photo. You can use any ink for that matter, and here I am trying to embellish this part, but I'll need to glue these two sides as well as the back as well. But I decide to do stitching instead of gluing, so I'm going to paper clip this and then stitch around the edges and show you how they look, as well as embellish them a little bit more. So here I'm putting this bulldog clip so that it doesn't move, and I'm going to be keeping the top open and stitching the sides, and you can glue the sides. So this is how it's looking. It has this part, the pocket part, and you can see it's pretty roomy, and over here we have another big pocket. You can add more pockets on the front, another 2 or 3 pockets as you like, but I'm not going to do that because if I add too many pockets I won't be able to show you how you can embellish them. So I'm going to stick with the basic structure basically. So I'm looking for some stuff that I'm going to be using. So this is a stencil that I have. It is a script style stencil. It was pretty big. I have cut this down to a small manageable size so that I can use it more frequently, and I'm going to be stenciling on the insides. I also have made some of these kind of inserts off camera, and I will show you how they look towards the end of the video. So keep watching, and if you want to see the end of this video and also how those look. So I'm going to be stenciling with some vintage photo, and here I'm using the script stencil. So it's just you can choose to keep it blank also. You can use a double-sided, like you can print on the other side. You can stamp whatever you want, but I personally decided to go with stenciling, and because it's very easy also, and I'm not a world's greatest stamper, and stamping is not one of my forte. I've said about that in my previous videos way back, but since then I have become better at this, but I prefer personally stenciling. So here is an image. This is from a public domain image. So I've cut all these down and I've gathered the stuff that I'm going to be using. So here is the flap pocket. This is the closure that I'm going to be using. If anybody wants to see how I made these kind of closures, then you will have to comment below. And these are super easy. You just punch out a hole, not a hole, a circle, and it depends, you know, like the circle that I've used is of 1 inch punch, and then I've stitched a button instead of using a brad. You can use a brad also. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this craft paper thick cardstock. That's a very heavy duty cardstock that I'm using because I need this to be very stable and hold that button. So I'm just picking this up and guesstimating the center, and now I'm going to push the sides of that craft paper so that it sticks to the insert itself. Okay, and this also helps the button to get raised a little bit, and so that you can pass a thread to use as a closure. I'll show that towards the end when we come to that stage. Right now I just need to fix this first, because once I start layering it will be difficult to put this on, so the closure must be put ahead of time. And by doing this you also can prevent, you know, punching a hole and using a brad, because then you would have, you know, you would need to cover that brad up. You know, it's going to be a different route altogether. So I'm not going to go into that complicated method. And I'm using some scrap paper and some sort of lacy fabrics just to layer the image up. I'm going to cut this paper smaller, way smaller, much to my preference or the need rather, and then I'm going to glue this down and stitch around it. So I'm going to glue this and then stitch around it and then add it on the top flap. So I have a lace material there, then I have some netted material, and probably I will be using some more lace on this side, I'm not sure. So now I'm going to stitch around it and I'll come back and show you how it looks. So now I've finished stitching this, and you can see it already has a kind of raised, elevated kind of look. That's because not only have I used a backing paper, but also the lace that I've used is a little bit thick and you know, very dense sort of look. It has a very dense weaving, so that also helped the image to get give it a raised effect kind of thing. So now I'm just taking off these threads, and I'm not going to throw these away because I'm going to be using them also. You'll see how I use them later on. So I'm going to be gluing this down, this image, okay, and I'm going to be placing this flower. This is available in my shop. It is from the red and pink fussy cut flowers that are available in my shop. I might put this label somewhere here, I'm not sure, but for now I'm sure about this. And as for the butterflies, I have chosen some of the butterflies that I can use, but I'm not sure which one would look nice. And they are not from my shop, they are from different shops. Like one is from Shabbydabbydoohdah, MyPorchPrints and such. So I'm not sure whether I'll go with this butterfly. I need something there just to balance out that flower element, because it is looking very what do you call it, right hand side of the flap is looking a little bit heavy on embellishment. So I need to balance it out with something on the lower part, the lower end, you can say, the left hand side. So I'm looking for something that I can use, but I personally would like some sort of a word or phrase, something of that sort. I don't know if I have something close by, because I didn't think about this. So here I have some words which I can use, and so I will be I will try and figure out which one I will use. So I thought of using this word take the risk, but then I changed my mind. I don't like that. I found that I would go with something else, but as I'm doing the voiceover, I realized that that was then that I decided that I'm going to use this, but after that I changed my mind. I love this quote, cherish every moment. I don't know, cherish is kind of a very precious word to me, so I decided to use that. And also the butterfly, signifies a lot of things that happen in our lives, how we change, how we metamorphose and become something else, sometimes good and sometimes bad. And so I'm going to be using that and not the previous one that I think I should have used. So now I'm going to be using this, and I will be using this with a lace background. So what I'll do is I'm just going to figure out how much lace I require, and I'm going to be cutting this down. Okay, so now I want this to be layered like so, and this butterfly looks a tad bigger than my space would allow me. So never mind, I'll find something else. So I'm going to be gluing, I'm going to be stitching this basically, not gluing this. So what I've done is I have stitched everything, and now I'm going to glue this down. Okay, and then I will be using that floral arrangement and the floral bouquet sort of thing, you can say. And if you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, then please think of subscribing. It would mean a lot to me. And I'm so thankful to all my new subscribers and older ones who have stuck around and discovered me. Some new people have discovered me also, and I'm so thankful for that, for sticking around, for making comments. I might not be getting back to your comments. I'm really sorry for that. But I read all your comments. I'll definitely try and reply them as soon as possible. And my life is pretty crazy like right now, because I am overbooked in my classes. So I guess this is good, but that's also something that makes me sad that I don't have time for the things I love to do. Don't get me wrong, I do love to teach, but I also love to make things like this. It keeps me so grounded, because when you work with your hands, so many things, I'm a very tactile person, so I love to touch and feel things. That gives me so much pleasure, and especially things like this. So whenever I stitch something on a lace, I usually add a paper backing to it, because that will again give it a slight rise sort of thing, and also it kind of add to the dimension. There's a kind of different just a slight elevation added to your project. That's it, nothing much. So here I'm going to be using those threads that I took off, and I'm going to make a small bed sort of thing, and just putting a dab of glue over there. and I'm going to be placing this lightly, spreading it out, and then I'm going to be adding this butterfly. This butterfly is from MyPorchPrints. She has this butterfly fussy cuts. I thought I'm going to go with this because I really like how it looks, and at the back I'm going to be doing some layering, and I probably should take off this paper, but right now it is wet, so probably I'm going to do it later on once it dries. I shouldn't have done that. Anyways, I realized that it's still wet, so I need to take some I need to give it some time to dry. So here I have chosen a few things that I will be using, and I'm digging into my stash of flower fussy cuts. These are all from my shop, and if you want you can go and see, but I'm going to go with this because the pocket is pretty tall. I wanted something tall, but then you will see how I change my mind. I just bring this flower out, and then voila, everything gets changed. I decided to go with this flower because I planned on using this butterfly, which again I do not at the end, you will see, because I found this butterfly is too big. So I'm going to use something smaller, something more understated, and I'm going to use a little bit of lace probably at the bottom. So it's totally up to you how you want to embellish this. This is how I am trying to do my version, and you can do your version. There's no harm in it. It's just each to its own. So it's how I decorate things. I use scraps, I use little bits and pieces here and there, and this is how my brain works. So I'm going to be using this like so. Yeah, so this is how it's going to look. Okay, and also I'm going to be adding this lace at the bottom. So I'll stick everything down and I'll be back. So now I have completed the stitching, the laces and everything, and now I'll just show you how I'm going to add the closure to this. So I'm going to take this this is actually crochet thread, and I'm just going to take a generous amount of that and cut it off. Then I'm going to put this around the button and tie a knot. So I'm just trying to push this thread under the button, which might look difficult, but it is not very difficult. I'm just circling that button with the thread, and then I'm tying off a knot. So if anybody wants to see how I made these kind of closures, then you can comment below, and this is how it's going to get closed. So I'm going to tie this like this, and this is a full insert sort of thing. So this is my inspiring insert number 2, and I am going to be making a playlist of inspiring inserts. So if you've not watched the first one, please go and watch the first one. You will get them all listed in the single playlist, and I will be adding more inspiring inserts which are going to be a little bit different from the usual ones. So hopefully you like them, and if you like these videos, then please don't forget to hit the like button. Please comment below, and if you've not yet subscribed, then don't forget to subscribe before you leave. So here's a pocket, and then we have this closure which I can take off, and then we have another pocket, and then you can add a belly band also if you so want, but I decided to keep it basic. As I said, I don't want to overcomplicate things. I'll show you what I had made off camera, and I'll just bring them before I end this video. So these were the ones I did before. So this is a closure from my postage ephemera collection, and the flower is also from my pink and red flowers. So here you can see I've not stamped or stenciled anything. This is the back side. Again, these flowers are available in my shop, and here I have this. Here again some layering, again some fussy cut flowers. This is very simple one. I didn't do much in this, and this one is a little bit different. So each one is different, as you can see, and each one is unique. So this one also has the button closure, and then this opens up, so you can cut out some thumb notch over there. And here are the 4 inspiring inserts that I had done. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, then please make some of these and share, tagging me along. You can share on Instagram also, as well as on YouTube. You can tag Bluegrass Journals and I will be able to see them. So thank you everybody for watching this, and bye. Have a great day. Bye.